Looks like you weren't particularly impressed by me trying to share a fantastic game without explaining to you all the meticulous ways in which it excels, so it looks like I'm going to explain to you all the meticulous ways in which these games excel. It looks like I'm going to have to spell it out for you.
And I'm gonna spell it out for you!
Nekketsu, Rhythm, Damashii, Os, Tatakae, Ouendan 2, and to a slightly lesser extent, Elite Beat Agents, is the greatest rhythm game for babies on the Nintendo DS since that other rhythm game for babies on the Nintendo DS I talked about. I adore it, and it loves me back. We're in a happy relationship, going steady, and I hope you are ready for the heady degree of happy ranting I am about to decree. Ouendan 2 ensues the titular cheer squad energizing people into pulling their lives together at critical moments. Regular people. Immediately, this premise is adorable and wholesome, but the sheer masculinity flowing through the game's veins recontextualizes the concept into a charismatic display of sheer humanity. There is a second rival cheer squad, which is also amiably helping people on the other half of town, and this dynamic develops into an incredible moment which you will only see if you play the game. No, you don't need to know Japanese to play this game. These are moon runes to me too, but the spirit ascends language. The episodic template is as follows: a life conflict, an cry for help, cheer squad arrives and screams, "Ah!" and a fierce battle for life improvement begins. The player bits buttons, slides sliders, and spins spinners to the rhythm of selected licensed music, and their short-term and long-term success or failure depends on player performance. The hit sounds in Elite Beat Agents may sound a bit too bit-crushed to be appreciated on a non-interactive level, but Ouendan 2's noises are heavy, bassy, less abrasive, and more powerful than ever before. Obsessed with power! They sound like real, thick, leathery drums. The act of touching the screen and one's headphones booming the visceral force of these instruments is a thesaurus for satisfying. It's gratifying, yeah. It's immensely gratifying. Hitting a button and sliding a slider to the rhythm of the harmonious melody emulates the expressive delight of creating music without actually needing to, indeed, be creative. On hard difficulty, the mental strain of mapping complex touchpaths in time with the distinctly Japanese extreme expressiveness of classic and early 2000s J-rock and J-pop generates a buzz in players' brains which performs an exemplary job of distracting them from the horrific existentialism of late adolescence.
Look, recording DS game footage is hard, so look, here's the game. Look at it. Look at it. This is the game. This is the game.
It is a system which is not broken. The system performs its task, and it performs it well, and I am clearly enamored with such a system. Put simply, I like it, and it's good, and I like it. Now, I could criticize the game for having an ever-present life drain on top of losing HP on miss, for being an arbitrary overkill which makes harder difficulties less forgiving, and therefore de-incentivizes personal growth. Or I could criticize the questionable tastefulness of a bonus difficulty starring skimpy female cheerleaders in which the difficulty is increased in an artificial and unsatisfactory manner by simply mirroring Beatmaps and making the buttons smaller and fade in faster, giving less reaction time, cheap. Honestly, I play exclusively on Sweatin' because this game is not for sex. Or the overall effort to recover HP after messing up even twice being too high, leaving players with a 200 plus chain, it's still somehow in the red. Or I could comment on spinners breaking my wrists and not being as responsive as in Elite Beat Agents. But this is the best game ever, and I don't care about any of this. Ouendan 2 is a thrill ride, a joy ride, and a fun ride from beginning to end. Check out this polished dog. When the cheer squad swoops in and screams, "Off!" there's a fierce, fiery animation of the character twitching with mad desire to make things right. What sets this apart from the Os trilogy is its sheer intensity. Ouendan the First used something similar, but a simple still image shaking and growing is something I can do in Premiere in minutes, making it less than impressive. And Elite Beat Agent's hand-waving can look awkward on certain characters. Not that that gesture isn't the most wonderful thing in the Western world, because it is. This is a perfect game and I love it, and you should buy it. Ouendan 2's two-frame twitching is more technically impressive and evokes the desired feeling with style and flourish. These two frames change the angle of the work, however slightly, giving it depth, therefore catching and enrapturing the eyes. Also, the background fire is probably better. Also, background fire. As players' combos grow, a fire grows in the bottom screen background, performing the narrative and symbolic function of fire, which we are all well familiar with at this point, so I don't even have to explain it to you. It's great! The fire doesn't bloom fully until 200 plus chain, give or take, meaning it must truly be earned, and that's truly the good video game. I like video games. I hope you can tell that I like video games, guys. Beatmaps are smooth and flow for the most part extremely well. There are many round patterns guiding players seamlessly across the screen. There are these things which Os calls wraparounds, in which sliders curl around a button which is then pressed on the next half beat. Patterns like these are interesting, fun, and imperatively intuitive for the mechanics. These are abstract, button shapes, in tune with real-life music, so getting a sense for the timing really depends on how much you've heard the music before, unless the beat map itself is intuitive. These beat maps show the kind of polish and perception a third game in a series can develop: intuitive, flowing, silky smooth patterns. You're not going to see anything nearly as confusing and unintentionally discouraging as Material Girl in here, except perhaps in Samurai Blues, but that song's more radical, so it's okay.
Oh god. Oh god, no! No! Ew!
Ouendan 2 relishes in quick, successive double beats, which is something the other two games rarely, if ever, do. These quick doubles are fast and intense, but short-lived enough that it never physically tires or dizzies players. And they are the best things ever, just like the last thing I said is the best thing ever. Everything is the best thing ever. I love video games!
Alright, there's another mechanic I forgot to talk about in the video, and that's when you slide a slider, there are these little dots that tick by to the rhythm of the music, but Ouendan does a very clever thing with them, as it has sliders end a half beat after a tick, creating this very satisfying accent, kind of like a drummer would. Watch this.
I adore the characters in this game and how every member of each group distinguishes the personality of their group, as well as the ranking of each individual member. These are such rad character designs, and the vocal performances are top-notch. Japanese voice actors seem to scream with a distinct, flavorful punch to them, and I love it. I don't know who this student go-getter is, but he was in Ouendan 1, and because Ouendan 2's accompanying song with him is so delightful, the first in the series to have a beginning song I keep coming back to, in fact, this is now an iconic and beloved character in my eyes. May this handboy achieve his dreams and find happiness in New York getting whatever job he got. There's a funky saucy monkey toy who needs to get back to his owner, the physical manifestations of someone's cell phone trying to send a message to his girlfriend, the person's girlfriend, not the cell phone's girlfriend. And the routine at this point, sob story, which provides an amazing emotional contrast which ultimately complements the impact of both this game's zany, wacky moments and its sad, serious time. Where other rhythm games integrate an arbitrary story which has nothing to do with the mechanics and aren't interesting in their own right, the stories of these characters are charming, and fun, and cool, and skippable, and I like them. I mean, I can't read the moon runes, but it's cool. Look at that, it's the Mario Brothers! This little boy is sleeping and trying desperately not to wet the bed, so he dreams up some popular characters he knows to fix his pipes, and they fix his pipes. This is a fitting and contextually charming allusion. These aren't your cookie-cutter, squeaky clean, corporate logo, emotionless Mario Brothers. These are gritty, stylized drawings, and they're cool as heck. Also, Cheer Squad goes into a kid's dreams to help him get over wetting the bed. I'm sold. Another aspect which sets Ouendan 2 apart from its trilogy is its track listing. Ouendan 1's songs are decent with nothing I can remember off the top of my head, and Elite Beat Agents has its peaks and valleys. But when Ouendan 2 brings out the big tracks, it brings out the best tracks I have never heard in my life. Explosive and personality-filled journeys, whether feminine or masculine, silly or serious, metal or pop, Ouendan 2 kills it, and now I am dead. I am a skeleton. I'm the skeleton from Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door. You'll understand later. Ouendan 2 honestly cheats by having the majority of its song lyrics in Japanese, meaning I can't get turned off by weird, culturally different, or tonally dissonant to the panels at hand lyrics like I can with ABC, Believe, Canned Heat, or I Was Born to Love You. I mean, I guess I Was Born to Love You like fits the story, but it's gay. It's gay. It likes men, and liking men is okay, but I don't want to play a video game where I make love to men, you know? That's just not, it's not what I come to games for. Songs like Skater Boy are meme songs which you come into with cultural context and a preconceived idea of what it means to you. Ouendan 2 don't got that, because it's all somewhere else. I have at most a vague idea of what most of these songs are about, but I adore them completely. Honestly, there are a number of EBA songs I don't care for, but these games benefit greatly from what I'm coining as Sonic Adventure 2 syndrome, meaning once every level is unlocked, players may go back and play their favorite missions over and over again and forget the forgettable ones until a player's perspective of the game is only based on the highlights. Of course, it would be better to have more than 90% of the game's content be Master Pizza, but we can't all be Rhythm Heaven Fever, and you can't please everyone. And again, when these games peak, they pierce the Earth's atmosphere with their passionate profundity. According to this highly scientific and thorough rating table, Ouendan 2 has more highs, and higher lows than Elite Beat Agents. Not that Elite Beat Agents isn't the best game ever in its own right. According to this numerical, mathematical data, Ouendan 2 is the best game in the series! Winky face. By the way, look at this incredibly strong endgame. Everything from Lala onward is fireworks. Still better than Guitar Hero, which averages 13% replayable songs.
I don't remember Middletown Dreams by Rush being in this game.
What are you still doing here? Sitting on your seat losing your mind to the sultry sound of my voice and my highly sensual writing style? This isn't your cookie-cutter, run-of-the-mill, turn your brain off, triple quotes, analysis video. This is a call to action. If this game sounds appealing to you based on what I've presented, then I demand you, I implore you, to go out into the world or internet and acquire Moero, Nekketsu, Rhythm, Damashii, Os, Tatakae, Ouendan 2 right now! Because it will enrich your life. I think that you will enjoy this game very much, and I think that this game will perform an exemplary job of distracting you from the horrific existentialism of adolescent life as it has for me. Truly, there is no greater service than distracting 20-year-olds from responsibility. Go buy this game. It completely deserves your attention, your affection, your money, and your love. It is a toy. Toys can't love. I'm sorry. Okay, I bought Elite Beat Agents for $3. $3, people.